Hey, good evening. I'm Zerlina Smith. We're doing Family Focus with Mothers Who Care, sponsored by Increase the Harvest, a not-for-profit 501c3. Karen Ahmed,
Hi,
my co-host,
I'm Karen.
Mothers Who Care. We are going into part 2.
Yep.
Into single parenting.
Yes.
And we're going to throw a little loop for you guys. Everyone knows I'm an activist around everything.
Yep.
So if we don't involve a little controversy into our issues about being a single parent, then I think we have problems. So we're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about voters' rights and some neighborhood or local issues that I think we should be talking about.
Yeah, and the importance of you as just a regular person, no matter if you think you're not interested in politics or you're really interested in politics, what you as an individual person can do to help your community.
That's right. And you can reach me as Zerlina Smith at increasetheharvest.org if you want any information on the things we're doing or if you want to get involved. And the only reason we're not sharing a lot of our things right now is because we have so much to share and we don't want to forget about everyone's things.
Right.
So let's go into, I'm a single mother. I'm 41.
Yep. I'm a single mother. I'm 51. So...
And we're friends.
Almost. We're almost.
I live in Austin. She live in Oak Park.
Yeah.
And we're friends.
And we're friends.
Difference.
Yes.
Our kids like each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Our kids have age difference. I have a teenager, and then I have an older daughter who's an adult, off on her own.
Who loves the outdoors. So we're going to talk about right now. This was a conversation with one of our other sister girlfriends, who's an educator. Early childhood. We were having this long talk on the phone this morning in regards to some things that President Trump says.
Yeah.
Now, my 9-year-old, she loves her some President Trump. She thinks he's loud, orange, and looks like cheese. And she likes cheese.
This is a good thing?
She likes cheese. So she likes her president.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that because that's a choice.
Right.
That's a choice, okay? So... President Trump made the comment, Karen, that immigration or immigrants are the reason why black communities suffer.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So, with her mother being an advocate for quality of life and advocating for everyone, regardless of color, regardless of finances, anything, when your child comes back and tells you, now, mind you, we're going to go back. She's the only black kid in the school with nothing but Mexicans. Nothing but Mexicans. And you have a president who's telling her that your mom, taxes are high, Social Security's not going to be there for her, and she's not making living wages because of the Mexicans. That's what she gets from what our president says. And then how do you reply to that when this is not just being said by him, but it's being said by a lot of people in our community?
Right.
How do we campaign or support issues when it comes to immigrant rights when black people have been brought over here through slavery? We still haven't gotten our workers of a mule. The pipeline to prison. The community, the communities look like hell over backwards when you think about walking outside your door in most black communities. And you have a president that is reaching a 9-year-old as a single parent. What do you say? Because I say to mine, Mommy got friends that's Mexicans. You know, Mommy got friends that's Italians. Mommy have friends that's Arab. Is whatever nationality, I can pick a friend out of my pocket. Not an associate, a friend.
Yeah.
And my child is telling me that she doesn't feel that separating families is something new because she lives with her single mom under a roof. And most of the people in her community, fathers are locked up.
Right.
So, politics now.
Right.
What do you do about that?
Right. And you know, this is obviously a serious topic that on one level, you hear all of these people, you don't know who they are, just talking. And anybody can say anything they want. But on the other hand, it affects your daily life. Like your daughter goes to the school with immigrants. And my daughter is, her father is from Pakistan originally. And so my daughter is Muslim. So she hears a lot of anti-Muslim talk. And that's another group that some are immigrants, some are not. So, I mean, it hurts me to hear some of the rhetoric coming out of politicians' mouths that are meant to divide people who really should be working together. And so I try to look at this situation in the terms of what's good for us as people.
That's right.
And what would be a good direction for this country to go. And in terms of what would be good for people of color, what would be good for immigrants, what would be good for people of different races. And I hear a lot of politicians trying to divide,
That's
divide
right.
us.
They're dividing.
And I think it's up to us as citizens to not be divided.
Yeah, but you also got to remember too, when you. And this, I don't know, this might be my slogan for whatever my future may hold for me.
Yeah.
When you walk outside your door, it's a vision of what you want to see. But yet still, we have our elected officials down in Congress, and I don't have to call it our black elected officials that represent us, who are down there, and they're willing to go on hunger strikes and sit-ins for immigrant rights. But the people who elected you to get into office, communities look like third world countries that you need to be going on a hunger strike for, to fight to get these resources. And it's like, when you think of the division, because I stand up and I fight for everybody. I don't believe that no child should be separated from not just his mother, but his father, and his grandmother's family. We have issues. We have issues. What do we want to see for the future for our children as single parents? Do we want to continue to allow telephones, technology to raise our children? Do we want to continue to say that black people didn't, and I as a black woman, didn't give my ancestors 4 acres and a mule? And yet still have a president telling me that the reason why I will or my child won't have is because of the immigrants coming over to our country and robbing our system. So it's like, this is all over the news. This is all over social media. This is all over everywhere. And how do you, even with a 9-year-old, and me being so involved in local and national politics, even with this 9-year-old little black baby telling me to go to school with all these Hispanics, that her president is telling her that her message is they're not good for her country. And I tell her, this is nobody's country, evidently, because look who's the president. And then she can debate us on the Ku Klux Klan, because Cherish, like her mom, likes to Google everything and research stuff. And she said, well, when the Ku Klux Klan was lynching, who was fighting for us? And then I tell her, well, we had elected officials then, and we have them now. So what do we do for voter rights? What do we do for voter education?
I mean, the thing about the elected officials is, there are 2 things that keep them in their jobs, right? One is money that comes from usually not us as voters. It comes from big corporations or other groups that have way more resources than most individuals have, and that is one problem in this. Some people argue that is one problem in this country. How politicians can raise money without going to big corporations that have interests or that want the politicians to vote for things that are bad for the constituents. So that's one part of power. We can sort of do something about that, but it's less under our control. But one thing we can do as individuals is make sure the politicians that we elect are doing what we need them to do.
So holding them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
Now, I believe that we should have finance caps, contributions to political candidates or political parties. Now, when you start thinking about holding them accountable, we're going to go back and think about how many blocks does your child have to walk to get to school? How many blocks do you have to drive, walk, or catch the bus to go to the grocery store or the laundromat if you don't have a washing machine in your home? Me, I work a job. I'm in school. I don't have a personal or social life because I'm out on the street trying to take the little resources that I do have to the streets to make sure that other single parents have the information and knowledge that we are privy to. I date myself and my girlfriends.
I was going to say, I didn't know that.
I date myself and my girlfriends. I wear a ring so I don't have to be bothered with something else in my life. Something else in my life right now. Because I'm trying to not just educate my daughter, but educate a community of single household parents as to voter rights. In November, we are coming up on, in the state of Illinois, our gubernatorial candidates. We have a Republican and we have a Democrat. We all know blacks are Democrats. That's one division on how they're going to get us. We all know that most Caucasians or white people and all ethnics, most of them are what? Republicans. We have to tell our people.
No, you're right.
I know a lot. That live next door to her. Okay, she live in Oak Park. No, we're just being funny. But I do know that for the sake of our children, we need to vote.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you vote for.
Right.
It just matters that you vote.
Right. And it's important for you to vote and make sure you're registered. And you can register if you're in jail, if you're in prison, you can register to vote and vote. You have a right to vote. If you have previously been in prison or jail, you have a right to register and a right to vote. So that's very important to know. And everybody over the age of 18 can vote, as long as you're of
if you're turning 18 due to the before the deadline.
Before November 6th. November 6th, 2018 are the elections in Illinois this year. So it's important to get out to vote. It's important to talk to your friends and your family and your neighbors.
And get to know the candidate. Do your research on the candidates. Make sure every candidate that you go out and you support, regardless of this election or any election, you know that they actually represent something that you want to see. So this is the accountability piece.
Exactly. And do you know what a lot of people don't pay attention to, and I'll admit I didn't for many years pay attention to candidates for judgeships. It's important to vote for president and governor and your state rep and everything. But it's getting to be more important to vote for judges because a lot of these policies that the lawmakers make, if you don't like them or somebody sues, to go against one of these policies that's a law, it's a judge that's going to make that decision.
Just like the incarceration.
Right, exactly.
Just like the parole.
Exactly.
Just like the judge controls that mighty gavel. Exactly. That mighty gavel. When we talk about the 98% return reentry people to the Austin community, we got to let you know you can vote. Right. Go tell your uncle, your daddy, your mama, your grandma, whoever. Just because you've been locked up don't mean you can't vote. That you vote when you're locked up. Right. So when you get out, you should continue this. And why you should continue is because we're looking at me just as a single mother. I'm a little bit fortunate to have a home, that I'm a homeowner. We have all this money sitting in City Hall for HUD, public housing. Increase the Harvest is a civic organization who pretty much is the mother of Mothers Who Care. We're going to go out and we're going to start our own voters education campaign. We're going to start a petitioning campaign to bring back affordable housing to the west side of Chicago. We're going to get half, if not more, than what it takes to elect a mayor to this seat. And we're going to do all this and ask for it to get on the ballot as a referendum in the 29th, the 28th, the 27th, the 24th, and the 37th wards. Okay? Now you need 50,000 signatures to get on the ballot as a mayoral candidate. How many signatures when we go around from ward to ward do you think we'll be able to collect to put an issue that's so badly needed, housing, on the market for our people.
Yeah.
And if you don't know me, you can Google me, and this is going to be fun. Because we want to make sure that not a child has to worry about where they're going to sleep at. A child doesn't have to worry about, can their mama pay rent? And it all ties into a community. And we're lacking a community right now. You bring affordable housing, you bring families back, you bring education, quality education, you bring walkable districts. All these things that we don't have in our community. And we're going to make sure that every candidate that represents us on the west side, and we're going to mess with Oak Park too.
Yeah.
Because that's our neighbor.
Yeah.
Help whomever is elected work with us to get us some businesses, to get us some peace of mind.
Right.
There's no way we should be neighbors when crime is actually trickling over from Austin to Humble. I'm about to say Humble Park, where my mama live, to Oak Park.
Right.
And our children is really being affected by these 170 homicides or just gunshot victims in the Austin community. And Austin is used to be one of the biggest communities in the city of Chicago. Now it's number 2 because of the quick run out, because everybody's leaving out the flight out.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what you can do as voters? I mean, every person needs to vote. Would you agree that,
I
so
think
many
soon as you
people
can
say,
sign your name, you should be able to vote.
so many people say to me, well, I'm just one person, what's my vote going to do? But, we have already seen this year in elections in other states that one or two votes does help, does count, and
about 6.
yeah, and do know something. I mean, obviously we have opinions on who you should vote for, but that's not the purpose of this
I'm gonna
show.
put my name on every ballot.
Yeah.
Vote for me. Write your name in for vote for yourself.
But
just vote.
yeah, and when you go out and vote, just do a little research. You don't have to spend as much time as we do thinking about this, but
Spend enough time.
But spend enough time, and you don't have to vote now on voting day. If you got a job you can't leave, or if something happens, or you can't get to the
they
poll.
have to let you go now.
Yeah, that's true. They do have to let you go
to go vote.
And there's also early voting. So a lot of communities.
I don't trust early voting.
We're supposed to.
I just don't. But that's her. I want to go in. Let me punch. Let me swipe. Let me do.
Yeah.
I want to touch and feel my stuff and know that my vote is being counted for.
That's a good point. Yeah.
One thing for sure, and one thing for certain. Everything that Increase the Harvest does, we collaborate with Democracy for America, State Representative LaShawn K. Ford, who's a strong advocate for everything. Yeah. He's probably one of our best supporters when it comes to community program and resources. Yeah. Reentry, our return citivism, population group. We have to do our homework. Being a former chairperson of the Early Head Start Policy Committee and DCFS, we have to think about the future of our children, and voting matters. Yeah. It's a lot of things that we need to do, and we got to figure out how do we do it together as people. Right. Because Zerlina's getting tired. Zerlina does pop up. I'm on anti-violence campaigns with my Mothers Who Care, my Increase the Harvest, my Return Citivism, State Representative for it, and the Nonviolence Institute, and so many others that support this initiative. We can't do it without you. Right. We can't fight violence if we aren't here in this little circle. Right. We're not in that square where everybody on their own corner. We in this together. Right. Because what I'm starting to see is that because we don't vote, they don't respect us. Right. Right. They don't respect us. Right. They think we're blind to what's their job and what they should be doing for us. Right. So they overlook us because the low voter turnout. Right. And my 9-year-old is dependent on you, me, and whomever else to vote. Yeah. Because I can't afford to continue paying private school education and paying a mortgage, lights and gas and dental and all these other things when I pay property taxes to send my daughter to a public school that's underfunded and crowded. And the lack of city services. I mean, if my daughter can't ride her hoverboard down the street, and it might sound like a hoverboard, we live in the hood. You know, every child has a hoverboard.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that she asked for on her 9th birthday. So mommy had to save every penny to get that hoverboard.
Yeah.
Because that's what my baby wanted. One gift for Christmas, that's all we could afford. Why should my sidewalks be crumbling and I have to pay a portion to the city to get my sidewalk fixed?
Yeah.
And I'm paying taxes.
Yeah.
Why should I have to, my neighbors, sweep up the alleys?
Yeah.
And we got the garbage trucks coming to pick up garbage.
And if these issues are important to you and you want your representatives to fix these problems and use your tax dollars, because these are your tax dollars you're paying with your property taxes. If you want your money to be used for your benefit, then make your elected officials do that. And if they don't do it, vote for somebody else next time.
Vote them out.
And like Zerlina said, if you're living in a place and there's low voter turnout, or you feel like, oh, you don't feel like voting this time, that makes a difference, because your representative is going to look at the voting statistics from your district and say, oh, these people don't vote, I don't need to do anything for them.
Put more interest, because of, if you're not familiar with rezoning and remapping,
Yeah,
put more interest in the area that does vote,
Right,
and the lack of interest in the area that doesn't vote.
Right.
And most of the time, that is the black community.
Yeah.
We have to, as parents, in 2018, get up and lead by example. We should no longer look at things that are in front of us as this is it. This is it. We need to do like our ancestors, the blood, sweat, and tears that they fought for our civil rights. We need to bring back those kumbayas and instill them in everybody in our household.
Yeah.
And as women, we need to form a bond, a better bond between one another, and show our children what it takes to be a parent, not just a single parent, a parent. Because I was a single household parent for 9 years. Well, for 9 years, and now I'm a single parent due to the tragic passing of my daughter's father. But I'm gonna make sure his legacy in her mind, because he was a great man, lives forever. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica. He did everything he needed to do to become a U.S. citizen. That man got up and he voted, regardless of if he was sick, if he was in the hospital. He was going to leave the hospital to go vote. He was a diabetic. He did not take care of himself physically to deal with that. When you think of the things that we are lacking and missing, we don't have quality health care in our community. My daughter goes 8.2 miles to see her doctor. When you think of resources in your community, if they're not there, and we have people who we say talk a good game and look like us, that's why we voting for them, hold them accountable.
Exactly.
Hold them accountable to fixing potholes, putting grocery stores, building affordable housing, bringing economic development, and making sure that we have walkable streets, building relationships not with just the community residents, but with the police as well. Because we have to have that trust with both sides. Because our children can't be afraid of the police, and the police can't be afraid of our children.
Right.
So when it comes to single parenting, how informed are you to make sure that you know the issues that's really hurting your household is affected by the people we elect? Right.
I went to a political meeting the other night. I'm a member of Oak Park Area's Indivisible group, which is it is partisan, but we work with a lot of communities in Oak Park. Our elected officials so far are doing pretty much what we think they should be doing. So we put our energy and our resources into other communities that might need a little more voices. And so I was at one of these meetings, and I was walking out, and I thought, I saw a TV show or a movie once where there was this mom, and almost the single mom. She was a single mom, and she was always going to her political meetings. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm that mom now. I'm that single mom going to the political meetings.
I've been that mom.
But yeah, you know, but it's important to show our children that we are fighting for our community, and that's something important that we can do. It's also kind of our social life too.
And that's our personal
where we
life.
find our
That's
friends.
our personal
yeah,
life.
yeah, and you
eat
personally,
dinner.
you don't have to go to political meetings if you don't want to, or you don't have time, or you're not interested. But if you get out to vote, that's a political statement. You know,
Of course,
we
but
can go to the meetings
get to
for
know
you.
the candidates that
Right,
you're voting
exactly.
for.
Get to know who you're voting for.
We can't stress it enough. I know our children just depend on those votes, and at this particular point, when you look at how our elected officials go on TV and they tell you why most black communities have high violence and all these issues is lack of education, lack of housing, lack of jobs. But they elected. They know all this. So why can't they get anything done? Oh, because they know it, but not enough of you are holding their butts to the fire.
Right.
So,
and when you know each individual's vote is one vote, but if we all come out and we all vote, that's a lot of votes.
that's power in people.
That is power. Yeah.
Power in people.
Yeah.
And the best part is that when we advocate for things, you have to look at the single males, unemployment rate, the massive pipeline to prison.
Right. Right.
We have to be compassionate enough to one another to say that everything we do, our children are watching us. And
if you don't like how your life is going in your community, I don't mean your personal life.
Your personal life, what goes on outside your door comes into your house eventually.
Right.
So what does she do? Your life.
Right.
It's our life.
If you don't like how your life is going, if you don't like what your streets look like, if you don't like what your schools look like, or
you don't like, you can't buy no fruits and vegetables, and
right.
you know, and all you got is corner stores.
Right. If you don't like that, get out there and tell your politicians, your elected officials, that you want to change. And then if they don't make that change, find somebody else who will. Right?
Yeah, and they hold these non-for-profits in your areas too. They get all this money to come to work in our communities and possibly don't do what they supposed to be doing. We have to build from where we're at, because our children, which is the community, is dependent on us. Yeah. And I don't sleep at night because I want to make sure that Cherish and her friends that look like her, that live in her community, get what they supposed to have. I don't think no child or no human being should be hungry.
No human being should worry about where they're going to live, should worry about being hungry, should worry about being warm enough,
having the lights, the water on, or having to make those choices as to which bill should they pay. And you have elected officials making six figures, and they're comfortable, and you have to figure out, do you fix your porch or your plumbing or something in your house and take away from a light bill or gas bill to maintain or fix your car. So that was part 2. And thank you for tuning in. And hopefully we can get you to tune in to part 3, where you will have Tammy Vincent, who is the co-chair of Increase the Harvest, and who is the, what is she? She's the Secretary of Mothers of Care? But she's going to join in with us for part 3. And please stay tuned, because this will probably be the most painfulest conversation that we'll have, because Tammy gonna beat all us up. Okay, so all 3 of us will be sitting in. Thank you. And
all right. Thank you.
Good night. Night.